Hi everyone, I'm Diana and welcome to Chronic Harmony, where chronic illness meets artistry, honesty, and healing. Today we'll be discussing my first signs of POTS and what I thought I was doing right while my body was actually screaming for me to stop. So let's dive in. So to set the stage, I was super active growing up. Runner, dancer, theater, choir, bands, etc., etc., etc. I thought that I was in really great shape, but for some reason something wasn't adding up, and I just thought that I had to continue pushing forward and continue driving myself toward that next PR or a double pirouette. I didn't realize my body was saying, Diana, please, for the love of God, just stop and take a breath before you pass out. I was doing all the things people say should make you healthy, but my body could not keep up. So while running cross country, I would finish a race and I would not typically bounce back like all of the other runners. Typically, after you finish a race, you get a runner's high where all of a sudden you want to run the race again and you just get this extra pour of adrenaline and it helps your body heal. When I would finish a race, my dad would be there at the finish line to catch me because it became known that Diana gives it all she has so that she passes out at the end, which can be debatable whether it is healthy for your body or not. But when I finished the race, I would experience these internal body cramps that would almost feel like period cramps, but they weren't, which kind of ties into endometriosis, but it was POTS that was trying to show itself and make itself known. But I obviously didn't know that at the moment. The dizziness, the nausea. As POTSies, you learn that your body will dump all of this extra adrenaline that your body can't use and your body doesn't need. It's way more than just a runner's high. It's all of this extra hormones that your body doesn't know what to do with, and so it feels like it attacks all of your insides and all of the nerves in your body, and it really makes it feel like you're on a roller coaster, and it makes it feel like you're going straight up in a jet, and your G-forces are just so intense that you can't see, you can't breathe, you're getting sick and passing out, and you desperately have this oxygen thirst, and you don't know what's wrong with your body, and you think, maybe I'm not as athletic or as fit as I need to be, so what am I gonna do? I'm gonna push myself harder, and hopefully it won't happen, but guess what? It keeps happening. Looking back, when I would finish a race, it was my body telling me that I could not transition well from motion to rest like everybody else. I would need longer rest periods, but I wouldn't give that to myself because I wanted to be the best runner I possibly could. Moving on to my next athletic feat was dance. Now in dance, it's more of a controlled movement, but also with dance, you have a very strict etiquette that you must follow in a class. For example, if class is starting, it is bad etiquette to be sitting down when you need to be standing up and preparing yourself for bar, or sitting down when you need to be learning the combination for center, or leaning on the bar, or leaning on one of your legs or hips. Posture is so important in dance because it is your foundation, it is your core, it's your emotion. And I would be having so much conflict in my mind because I would be going through these POTS episodes that I didn't know were POTS episodes. My body would be shaking intensely. I would be sweating more than just an athletic sweat. or working out sweat. It would be my body trying to find a way to neutralize itself or to create an equilibrium, and it was just screaming for help. So often I would be trying to not pass out during class, and I couldn't lean on the bar. I couldn't sit down. So it would be a workout in and of itself to try to stay conscious. And the amount of times where I would be doing different combinations and I wouldn't have my eyesight, again, too many to count, because I did not want to have bad etiquette, but it was just because I didn't know what my body was trying to tell me. I wanted to be a good student. I wanted to push myself to the max capacity, and I was pushing myself to the max capacity, but I wasn't allowing myself the time to rest and the time to try and move at a slower and almost a more incremental pace instead of exponential. Honey, us Potsies can't do exponential. It is very humbling because sometimes different workouts or different environments call you to have an exponential growth, but sometimes we do need linear before we can allow that extra growth to occur, because our body desperately has to catch up. And I did not know that at this time. There really was such a tension between discipline and physical distress, between my time running and between my time in dance. It is something that I'm still figuring out. I love both to the ends of the world, but it's still something I have to figure out where my starting point is, where a logical and true growth point ends, and how to get there. Because where I want to be is definitely not where that true growth point is, and I have to be honest with myself, and that is probably the hardest part about POTS, is the honesty, because as somebody who loves the athletics, you can't sacrifice your physical or even mental well-being just for a coach or a teacher or a double pirouette, triple, quadruple, whatever, a split, or even a personal best will tell you, wow, you are the best one in the room. You are the best one in the race. You cannot sacrifice that wellness in your body and in your mind. What confused me the most is that I would have triggers not just from intense activity. Sometimes all I had to do was stand or be standing, and I would be going into a full-on POTS episode. And that is what we will be talking about next time in my part 2 series, where I tell my POTS story. So continue to follow along on Chronic Harmony. I am chronic.harmony on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So follow, subscribe, like, comment, all of that jazz, and I will see you later.